Welcome to Kakukia Studio. I'm Shin. RIZIN 51 in Nagoya IG Arena is coming up soon. In this tournament, popular fighters like Mikuru Asakura, Ren Hiramoto, Hiroya, and Kyohei Hagiwara will not be participating. You might feel like something is missing, but actually, if you look at the matchups, this is shaping up to be a really exciting tournament. First, the highlight is featherweight champion Shidori's first title defense against rising contender Korisuniku. Of course, the match itself is something to look forward to, but actually, you can't take your eyes off what happens afterward either, because there are some interesting rumors going around. It's being said that on New Year's Eve, Mikuru Asakura will challenge the champion. In the featherweight division, Hagiwara versus Akimoto is set, with Hiramoto returning soon and Yaman defeating Kanahara by Bankrois. The division is heating up, and this match will happen amid the excitement. The Shedley versus Korsunik match will significantly affect the featherweight division's future and is expected to be a key fight. And there's one more match set for this event. It's the highly anticipated title match. That's in the lightweight division. The absolute champion, Satoshi Souza, will be challenged. Yoshinori Hori is the challenger. Many fans may see that Hori has almost no chance, but in mixed martial arts, nothing is absolute. I'll give a detailed explanation later, but Hori has a weapon that could overturn the odds. Will the absolute champion defend his title as expected, or will there be a major upset? This match will be exciting, and the Flyweight Grand Prix second round will happen in this tournament. The matchups are Kubo Hiramasa versus Gajimoto and Motoya Yuki versus Arata Ryusei. Both matches are exciting, and I can't wait to see how they unfold. What's interesting is that both matchups are structured as new generation fighters versus experienced veterans. There's also an even more noteworthy matchup. You could say it's a fight for a shot at the championship. Sato versus Sabate in the tournament, and then Itou versus Aasen. Looking at the whole event like this, there isn't a single superstar fighter participating. However, in reality, there are a lot of really interesting matchups lined up. In this video, I'll cover each match's highlights, key points, and my predictions. Please subscribe to this channel first. Please smash the button, and the like button, smash that too. First, let's take a look at the RIZIN featherweight title match, Shedoref versus Korisuniku. I think those of you who regularly watch this channel already know, but my favorite RIZIN fighter is Shedoref. He displays overwhelming strength, reminding me of Habibu. 14 matches so far, all wins undefeated, and his finish rate is 100%. He truly deserves to be called a monster, and if you see his face, you wouldn't believe it. But he's still only 24 years old. He'll only get stronger at an even faster rate, making him a truly terrifying athlete. However, Korisuniku shouldn't be underestimated. With a 9-win streak, he's a very dangerous athlete. He can switch between orthodox and southpaw. He skillfully uses punches, kicks, and knees, and attacks by mixing them up to the legs, body, and face. Not only does he attack, but he also looks for counters, and is good at spinning strikes. He's a fighter with a well-balanced overall stand-up game. What stands out the most is his calf kick. He throws it at a perfect timing that's hard to check, and persistently targets it throughout the fight. Interestingly, watching his fight footage makes you see Korisuniku as a striking specialist, but his actual finish rate is 8 KOs and 8 submissions. In other words, half of his wins come by submission. And if you look at the details of those submissions, 5 of them are by guillotine choke. However, no matter how good Korisuniku is at the guillotine, that Shedoraifu is just reckless. Can he really choke out that thick neck? Honestly, that's questionable. Still, Korisuniku has a chance to win. Keep his distance and use kicks as his main weapon. If he recovers quickly after being taken down and maintains high-pressure striking, it's possible. It's possible, but I still think it's going to be difficult. Even if he manages to stop the takedown early on, Shedoref will keep coming at him again and again. And since he can also strike, I think there will be moments when he unexpectedly lands strikes on Korinik, who is wary of the takedown. In the end, Shedoraifu will dominate Korisuniku on the ground and win by technical knockout. Or I predict he will win by submission. And if this prediction is correct, next will be Shedoraifu versus a Mikuru Asakura title match is possible. On the other hand, if Korisuniku stops the takedown, If he wins by overwhelming with strikes, that would also be really interesting. Who will win and what kind of performance will they show us? This match is a highly anticipated card that will greatly influence the future of the featherweight division. Lightweight title match, Satoshi Souza versus Yoshinori Horii. Most believe Souza is heavily favored. However, in martial arts, upsets are possible, especially in this sport. In mixed martial arts, because the gloves are thin and small, there's a possibility that a single strike can end the match. Under RIZIN rules, stomps and soccer ball kicks are allowed, making that possibility even higher. Horii has a background in traditional karate, and his specialty is being able to close the distance quickly and land strikes from far away. Of course, Souza has also been working on his striking, and recently he has proven that his level has improved. However, from my perspective, that growth is mainly on the offensive side, and I don't feel that his defense has evolved as much as his offense. There have been matches where Souza failed to get a takedown, took strikes, and lost. Specifically, he turtled up on the ground and took ground and pound and ended up getting technical knockouted like that. In other words, the path for Horii to win has already been shown by other fighters. Stop the takedown, pile up damage with strikes, and either hurt him enough or get the knockout, and break Souza's spirit. But it's easy to say that in words. But actually doing that in front of Souza is a completely different story. In my prediction, as expected, I don't think Horii can stop Souza's takedowns. Even if there is a difference in skill in striking, Souza's advantage on the ground is overwhelming. Of course, Horii's fights are always exciting, and I really like his wild personality. So, I really hope he does his best. But for my prediction, in the end, I think Souza will end up getting a submission. Even if Souza wins, I'm very interested to see how he deals with Horii's speed, sense of distance, and traditional karate style. That's because Nomura also uses the same traditional karate style as Horii. Originally, in this tournament, Nomura was supposed to fight Souza. That's why, if Souza wins, there's a high chance his next fight will be against Nomura. In that sense as well, I'm really interested in this match. Flyweight tournament, second round, Hiroki Motoya versus Makoto Shinryu. This matchup is truly a 50-50. Both fighters have high-level striking and grappling. The biggest highlight is how the fight will unfold, the speed of their strikes and the variety of their techniques. Well, I feel that Shinryu has the edge here. For Shinryu, he should avoid close-range exchanges and use his speed in the center of the ring. If he can win the striking exchanges, I think he can control the match. Also, Shinryu tends to start strong in the early rounds, while Moat is the type to pick up the pace in the later rounds. The key point will be when the momentum shifts during the match. It's a very difficult match to predict, but I think Shinryu will win by decision. I don't expect a one-sided match, but so far he's struggled against veterans. For Shin, this is likely a major step forward. In another tournament bracket, Daikikubo Hiromiza will face Gajamoto-fu. Gajamoto-fu wants to settle the match standing while Daikikubo wants to take it to the ground. The matchup is simple. Gajamoto-fu will fight on the front line. He'll block all the takedowns, and on the contrary, he'll try to get takedowns himself. He won by knockout with a punch and gave an impressive performance, but some weaknesses were also revealed. Gajamotov's strength is his explosive power, but it's impossible to sustain that intensity for 15 minutes, and he can't do it. During the fight with Soya, his pace slowed from round 2. Even if he stops the takedown initially, fatigue will build up. If he can't damage Okubo, there's a chance he won't be able to stop the takedowns. That's the kind of development I'm expecting. When you think of Daikiho, you probably think of his grappling, but actually he's also good at striking. And above all, his stand-up defense is excellent. He watches his opponent closely and anticipates dangerous distances and positions ahead of time. So his style is never flashy, but for his opponents, they must feel an intense difficulty fighting him. He takes some hits from Gajatov's strikes, but avoids fatal damage as the match unfolds. He goes for tackles multiple times and eventually secures a takedown. And I predict that Oho will win by decision. Furthermore, the winners of this match and the match between Honya and Shinryu will face each other in the finals for the belt. That's why it's not just about who will win, but also how they will win. These are two matches I'm very interested in. Tournament reserve match. Now, the rematch between Itou and Aasen will take place. They faced each other about 2 years ago. At that time, Aasen won by decision. However, if you look at how things went after that, it's quite a contrast. Itou went on to achieve 5 consecutive wins from there, but then lost to Mari. But after that, in an upset, he defeated Zulu and regained his momentum. Aasen has 1 win and 3 losses. No disrespect, but even that win was almost... He won against an opponent in what could be called his mixed martial arts debut. In the past, Aasen has won, but considering his recent record, to be honest, I have to say Yuri Itou. Personally, I like Itou's fighting style, so I really hope he does his best. I was watching RIZIN in Confessions, and Sabatero has a sharp tongue. I appreciate how he hypes up the matches. As an entertainer,